Standing in welcome of His Excellency, the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Vice President Kashim Shettima. And giving much verve and vision to driving the international presidency. Your presence here this morning, we are really honored. Thank you and thank you. I would have thought that the members of the IPI Nigeria would at least put their hands together for one of us, persons of particular concern. So if we have somebody, one of us representing us, where people try to say that we are of peculiar concern, recognize them even in their absence. But permit me to especially welcome and recognize Mr. Imam. Thank you very much, one of the leaders of API Nigeria. We also especially recognize as one of our leaders who have led this body right from the beginning and thank you. Most distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we thank you all for your presence here this morning and welcome you warmly. Please, may I crave your indulgence.
General meeting. On behalf of the IPI Secretariat and the IPI Global Network, I'd like to wish you a successful and productive event as you deliberate on critical issues facing the media industry in Nigeria, foster collaboration, and advance the cause of free, independent, and responsible journalism. We are at a moment of immense global change in geopolitics, technology, and society, and so this could not be a more important moment to come together to strengthen the independent journalism we need to navigate these changes and help protect media freedom as a cornerstone of democratic society. We want to commend the IPI Nigeria National Committee for organizing this crucial event and creating spaces for learning, sharing, and solidarity. As many of you know, this year, 2025, marks IPI's 75th anniversary, a milestone in the fight to protect and defend journalism and press freedom around the globe. And it was wonderful to see so many of our Nigerian members at the recent IPI World Congress and 75th anniversary event in October in Vienna. IPI was founded in 1950 in the shadows of the Second World War by 34 leading editors from 15 countries who believed that a free press would lead to a freer, better world. It was also founded on the belief that improving links among journalists would lead to better communication across borders, and therefore to peace. Over the past 75 years, IPI has stood at the forefront of advocating for the rights of journalists in the face of political censorship, pressure, and repression. And throughout this time, whether fighting censorship or documenting the truth in war, the IPI Global Network has been a source of solidarity for journalists under threat. In this anniversary year, and at a moment of global uncertainty, this solidarity is more important than ever. We can therefore be proud of what IPI has accomplished over 7.5 decades. But our task now is to look to the future, to strengthen press freedom and ensure the sustainability of independent journalism, ensuring that they remain effective guarantors of free society. At IPI, we're working hard toward that aim, and we're delighted to be joined by our members around the world in that effort. To close, I'd like to thank the IPI Nigeria National Committee members for their dedication, engagement, and commitment to the cause of press freedom. To all of our members and IPI Nigeria Congress participants, we wish you fruitful deliberations and a successful event. We look forward to hearing about the outcome and to continue working together.
Come forth to review the publication entitled Nigeria Book of Infamy. That's a strong word, but it also helps with infamous, if you stretch it. I wouldn't know if Darian Hassan is here yet, but we'll thank you all the same, and I'm happy that you could be with us.
Press freedom ranking. That steep drop is not the result of one incident. It is the cumulative effect of consistent and aggressive repression across platforms and across newsrooms. Nigeria is classified as one of West Africa's most dangerous countries for journalists. This is not a beautiful portrayal of our country, but the description is not business. The pattern is unmistakable. Journalists are monitored, attacked, and arbitrarily arrested. Completely lawful reporting activities such as filming a demolition, covering a protest, documenting police misconduct have become dangerous acts. Media houses are shut down for political reasons. In Zamfara, 4 broadcast stations, NTA, Pride FM, Gamji TV, and her Huma TV were once closed simply for airing an opposition rally. Investigative journalists face targeted intimidation. We recall the harrowing experience of a colleague, Segun Olatunji, who was abducted, blindfolded, chained, and transported hundreds of kilometers away from his base for a controversial reporting. Online reporters are now frequent victims of cybercrime accusations. The cybercrime law, despite recent amendments, continues to be used to suppress digital journalism. Several journalists have been arrested or prosecuted under this legislation. This has been said before, and I will say it again. Journalism is not a crime, and journalists are not criminals. The Constitution protects freedom of expression. This the court have affirmed, but in practice we continue to see arrest, intimidation, censorship, and violence. To our colleagues across the country, This is not the time for apathy and isolation. We must act as a unified community. When a journalist is arrested in Kano, colleagues in Akwa Ibom must care. When a newsroom is attacked in Niger, reporters in Lagos must speak out. When a reporter disappears editors in Abuja must raise the alarm. Solidarity is our greatest line of defense. The stakes are high. Independent journalism is the lifeblood of democracy. When the press is intimidated, elections lose credibility. Governance becomes opaque, corruption flourishes, and citizens lose their voice. We must not allow that to become Nigeria's story. We urge the federal government to call state governors, security agencies, other officials involved in impunity against media and journalists to order. The governments to ensure state governors, security agencies, and public officials stop the harassment of journalists. No democracy can function when those who hold power to account are shielded from scrutiny. This administration should also strengthen mechanisms for journalist safety. Nigeria has no functioning state protection system for journalists. This must change. In addition, the time has come for Nigeria to review laws that enable abuse, particularly the cybercrime and outdated criminal defamation provisions. We are also urging the government to address the culture of impunity in our country. There are too many centers of power routinely deploying state powers against journalists without consequences. When crimes against journalists go unpunished, the message is dangerous, that silencing the press is acceptable. But let us be clear, ladies and gentlemen, journalism is a tough, risky, and selfless public service. And if they get nothing for their sacrifice for society, journalists at least deserve respect and protection. Therefore, any further attack on journalists will be fiercely resisted going forward. I thank you all for listening and welcome.
Thank you very much, sir. I know on the program they tried to abbreviate your surname, and I protested. Thank you very much for being a part of this process. Would have the pleasure
upon which it depends. We categorically rejected the old playbook of coercion, which will only have inflamed tensions. Instead, we pursued transparency and immediately publishing every fact that we have to the fullest. Unadulterated agreement to demonstrate its content had no such provision, issuing detailed rebuttals and engaging the public directly. We channeled the complaint through the independent media ombudsman, respecting a self-regulatory mechanism. The result was that a potent falsehood capable of sowing significant discord was disarmed by the power of fact and an unwavering commitment to democratic dialogue over division. This episode alone stands to demonstrate our restraint to resolve to protect both social harmony and press from the corrosive effects of disinformation. Our approach, however, is not a retreat into control, but to engage through dialogue and build proactive solutions. It is in this spirit that I'm proud to announce a major step forward for Nigeria. Only recently, indeed only a few weeks ago, Nigeria has been selected to host the Regional Media Information Literacy Institute. It is actually a Category 2 UNESCO institute to be cited anywhere around the world. This institute will not be a government mouthpiece, but a neutral, pan-African hub for training journalists, educators, and citizens to navigate the digital age, to enhance critical thinking, to source verification and ethical reporting within our own cultural context. It is the ultimate long-term investment in inoculating our society against misinformation by empowering its people, especially the media professionals. I therefore extend a formal invitation to every organization represented here today to join us for its official unveiling by UNESCO in the first quarter of 2026. We remain committed, we remain committed to working with the IPI, the Nigerian Guild of Editors, Nigerian Union of Journalists, and all other organs within the media profession to review regulatory frameworks, ensuring that they protect both free speech and the public good in line with global best practices. Your Excellency, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, as one from amongst you who remains true to our shared vision, I leave you with this pledge. I will continue to be an unwavering voice within the Federal Executive Council, championing the cause of free press and an open society, and sustaining our current tempo, moving it in the right direction. Indeed, the theme of the IPI Nigeria 2025 Congress speaks of addressing repression. But the ambiguity can be excused. Our shared task is to advance freedom. The evidence in our principled restraint in crisis to building institutes for literacy shows that we have already begun this journey. Let us now partner to quicken the pace. Let our collective legacy be that can be used to fortify the foundations of Nigeria's democracy by safeguarding the very freedom that it defines. I thank you very much for listening, and I wish you happy deliberations as we proceed. Thank you very much.
And they are all marked male and female, because thank you, Madam Ali. We also welcome the Director General of the Voice of Nigeria, even in their absence. But permit me to especially welcome and recognize Mr. Imam. Thank you very much, one of the leaders of API Nigeria. Welcome you. I'm trying to do this so that when eventually our distinguished special guest of honor, who has done the program,
And here, this is a collection of the creme de la creme of the journalism profession in Nigeria. Apart from Malam Lai Mohammed, there is Azubuike Ishekwene, Zainab Suleiman Okino, Tolu Olamiti, Akpan James, Ishak Ajibola, Yobosa Warren, and so many, some of the best minds in the Nigerian media scene. Every nation is a construction of its media. Those who sit behind the keyboards and microphones and can make the color of blue appear red. Those who can summon the collective courage of a people to overpower the most brutal dictator. Those who can dismantle dreams, build dreams, or dismantle illusions. Those who can give life to hope or bury a nation in fear. Our aspiration, therefore, is to witness the finest expressions of this noble craft, while you offer the public a diversity of information from which independent opinions are formed, and where truth, not convenience, becomes the supreme editorial policy. Mr. Alibwe and Rahim Adedoy from the Rutam House. What's the motto? Conscience is an open wound. Only truth can heal it. So I'm honored here to share the company
of these professional troublemakers today. There is no doubt that Nigeria has one of the most vibrant media communities anywhere in the world, a fact proven across generations. We have lived through days that showcase your brilliance and patriotism, just as we have lived through days that reveal your imperfections. Yet one thing you have never failed to do is to rise in defense of the public's right to know. You have confronted those who sought to suffocate this oxygen of our democracy, and in moments of national confusion, you step forward to correct misinformation. This is a responsibility we cannot afford to take for granted, however complex our relationship may be sometimes. One of the proudest moments for journalism in contemporary Nigeria has been the sincerity with which the overwhelming majority of you continue to confront the rising tide of foreign information manipulation and interference. You have stood firmly against this information and refuse to surrender your pens to falsehood or foreign puppeteers. This honorable stance sets you apart from the minority who chase notoriety by manipulating unverified data and manufacturing obvious lies, those who prepare viral fiction to verified facts. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, if our collective experience has taught us anything, it is this: not a single practitioner lasts in the vocation without a sense of ethical responsibility. The pen is only mightier than the sword when it is deployed in the pursuit of justice and objectivity. Without ethics, journalism becomes nothing more than a dictatorship of text and airwaves, a distortion chamber where truth is suffocated by dangerous agendas. Perhaps the most sacred duty of the media is the responsibility of saving democracy. This duty involves not only saving democracy from the political class, but also saving the political class from themselves. It includes shielding institutions from the excesses of human impulse. Democracy is safe only when power is under constant observation, and it is safe only when those who observe do so with integrity rather than vendetta. That is where your heroism begins. I have a personal story to tell. In the year 2004, I was the regional manager for Zenith Bank in Maiduguri. And I got hints because there was no love lost between the Sun newspaper and my boss, Governor Ali Sharif. There was a story that Ismail Omifidan penned for the Sun, where Ali Sharif boasted that he has 78 cars or so. The government invited the publishers of the Sun to convince them to remove Ismail Omifidan from Maiduguri. But the publishers said no. We would rather forgo all businesses from the Borno State government than for us to compromise our values and ethics and remove this young man from Maiduguri. So there was this war between the government and the Sun. And Omifidan stumbled on a very damaging piece of information concerning some financial transactions of the Borno State government. So my friend, who later on became my special advisor on communications, Isa Umar Gusau, he was by then in Daily Trust. I reached out to him, and I also reached out to Hamza Idris. They advised me that go and just seek for his support. Don't ever dangle any carrot before him. So I went to the Sun office at Galadima Junction in Maiduguri. He was nowhere to be found. I dropped my card in his office, and he came to the office, and I opened up to him. We are the bankers to the Borno State government. I learned that you have stumbled on some very damaging news pertaining to some financial transactions related to the First family. I'm begging you, please, shield us from the damaging news. And honestly, I swear in the name of God, not a single dime exchange hands between us. He said, for your openness, he brought out the information, and it was authentic, I must confess and admit. And he tore the paper to pieces in my presence. And from there, we formed a lifelong relationship. Ismail Omifidan is my friend, my brother, and my contemporary. When as the governor of Borno, even the activists, Omoyele Chowore, whenever he gets any hot news relating to Borno State government, before he became a politician, no. To be fair to him, he was regularly reaching out to Isa Umar Gusau to verify the authenticity of such stories. So we know the real journalists who adhere to the ethics of the profession, and the quacks and the mischief mongers and the anarchists are being the butt of sick jokes. In the Sambisa forest, we used to have a thriving Fulani community who are tending to their livestock. Because of the jockey relationship between the Kanuris and the Fulanis, when Boko Haram moved to the Sambisa forest, they allowed the Fulanis to graze their livestock until wars trickled down to them that the Fulanis were revealing information on the movements of the Boko Haram to the Nigerian military. So they dropped them away, confiscated all their livestock. Very wealthy individuals became destitute overnight. Most of them became my guards in the schools the government was building across Borno State, because underneath the mayhem of Boko Haram, beneath the nihilism lies the real cause, which is extreme poverty. And education provides us the greatest tool of really addressing the root causes of insurgency and banditry. So we are crazily, massively building educational facilities, and most of these Fulanis were the Megas in those facilities. I took it upon myself to break the intergenerational transfer of poverty, to reach out to those Fulanis and enroll their kids to school. I was even giving them rice, beans, clothing items, just to convince them to entrust their kids to me so that I can take them to school. And I was not keen on mixing them with the local people because they are the poorest of the poor. I even built a school, a special school. All the classrooms were air conditioned, we were using digital education aids, we were feeding them 2 times per day. And we were bringing buses. Buses were conveying them from their homes to the school. Just to encourage the parents. Regularly, whenever I go on visits, I used to sit down with the parents, eat, chat, just to win their confidence. One of those pictures recently went viral. Shettima dining with bandits and Boko Haram in Maiduguri. But I have developed thick skin to such accusations, but none of the serious media houses took those stories. So the greatest threat to our democracy and our national survival is not the mainstream media. The anarchists in the social media are the greatest threat. I know they will come after me. That's the price of leadership. They are serious commentators and they are mischief mongers. Perhaps the most sacred duty of the media, as I said earlier, is the responsibility of saving democracy. And I understand that journalists and politicians sometimes enjoy the relationship of a cat and a mouse. Each side is convinced that the other requires close monitoring. But we are better off as friends. Your job is to report events as they are, and this cannot be easy without interests colliding. Yet the difficulty of the task does not diminish your essence. It only affirms your indispensability. We often fail to appreciate the Nigerian media enough, but the truth is unmistakable. It is impossible, utterly impossible, to have a successful dictator in Nigeria. And it is not for lack of trying. Never in our history has any person or government succeeded in suppressing the media permanently. You have stood firm in the coldest nights of national adversity, and you have outlived those who attempted to place their boots upon your freedom. You have been the life-size mirror of our nation, reflecting us not as we wish to be seen, but as we truly are. The story is being told of Mobutu Sese Seko sending a delegation to His Royal Highness, the Balogun of Owu Kingdom, Matthew Okikiola Aremu Olusegun Obasanjo. He was by then the military head of state, complaining about the bad media he was getting in Nigeria. With his unique sense of humor, Obasanjo requested for that day's edition of Daily Times, the papers that were active then. In one of the papers, there was a caricature with big ears, with a protruding tummy of Obasanjo. So he gave it to the ministers. He said, "This is a souvenir. Take it to President Mobutu Sese Seko. They have not spared me, so they will not spare him either." Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we owe a space of practice devoid of harassment, intimidation, or fear for our journalists. That much is non-negotiable. And as a government, we must continue to create an environment where truth can thrive without obstruction. And why the work you do is protect rather than police, as rightly captured by the Honorable Minister of Information and National Orientation. We are friends of the media. President Tinubu is a publisher. He owns a media outfit. He cannot be hostile. In times of distress, he has provided support to quite a number of media houses. So consider him as one of their own. And we want to build this country. For me, I would rather be a small fish in a big pond than a big fish in a small pond. This country is greater than all of us. We need to work collectively, coalesce into a single force to save our country. Yes, we are going through some grim and somber moments in the contemporary annals of Nigerian history. But where there is a will, there is a way. I am an eternal optimist, and I believe that no matter how long the night is, it must give way to the light of the dawn. Yes, stormy, the weather might well be, but it won't rain forever. So the current crisis is a temporary eclipse. The sun, the Nigerian sun, will start shining once again. I want to urge you, I beseech you, let's join hands for the collective good of each other. We remain friends only when each of us honors our part of the debt we owe the people. The alternative to this partnership is one I refuse to breathe life into. Because a nation where the media is silent is a nation where public officers lose their way and where the people lose their voice. Such a country serves none of us. And so I stand before you today, not as a worthy politician, but as a friend, as a brother, as a contemporary. Apart from all men, like 75-year-old elder statesman, majority of the people here belong to my age group. As a friend, one who acknowledges your indispensable role, and assure you that this administration respects and will continue to protect your right to freedom of expression. Take it from me, on behalf of the President, on behalf of the Honorable Minister of Information and Nation, he is a publisher. People's Daily, or is it Blueprint? The publisher of the Blueprint newspaper. So we are all partners in this task of nation building. I want to thank you most sincerely for listening. The minister and I, we have a public function, the emblem decoration day by 1 p.m. with the president. But definitely we have enough time to get our acts together. Mojid and your colleagues, hold the flag line. We'll support you, we'll nurture you, we'll protect you. Thank you, and God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.